Hey guys, we just wanted to take a moment to talk about how we got to this point, the choices that we made to purchase the van that we did, and just some other details about our van journey.
About Instagram is every picture, every person that you meet does something to inspire you, and I guess that's really the reason why we got into Instagram in the first place. But I mean, the van life pictures that we've been seeing of different people that are both building right now, but as well as living that lifestyle, for sure inspired us to be a part of this.
Yeah, there's some pretty amazing stuff out there. You guys are so talented. I mean, between Instagram, YouTube, just everything that's out there.
Yeah, so thank you to you guys. But another big thing that inspired us was this past summer, like we had big plans to go to Europe for our 1 year anniversary.
Huge plans, so many international trips.
Wanted to go to Peru and hike Machu Picchu. Obviously, none of that was possible because of COVID. So we started rethinking our game plan and what can we do inside our country. So spur of the moment in like April, we just booked a flight. We have friends in Colorado. We booked a flight to Denver
for $35. It was a $35 flight.
Not knowing if we would go or not, so we were just like, $35. Why not?
If we lose it. If not, we go. It's great.
So we ended up going, and we decided to rent a van. Visited so many national parks and just had an awesome time. And I think that made us realize we can do this.
Yeah, we came home from that trip and we're like, we need one of those vans. I think the most daunting part of it, though, was the fact that we couldn't even hang a shelf in our house before this without having trouble. So it's definitely a project, and we're learning, and we do have some help, which we are super thankful for.
Yeah, a lot of help. YouTube is a huge asset.
You kind of, create things to cater to what you want and what your lifestyle is, and what works for you. Like, we're going to be traveling with our dog a lot, so things are going to be a little bit different for him based on somebody who doesn't have a pet with them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess like one of the last things that really inspired us is Finley.
Yeah.
I mean, when we fly places, we have an awesome dog sitter.
He's the best.
We should call him Doug Sitter.
Doug Sitter.
We call
him Uncle Doug. COVID kind of gave us the push we needed, as silly and ridiculous as that sounds. Being stuck and not being able to travel and do the things that we love, we kind of had to get creative with that. And we're big campers and hikers as it is, but we have a project now. We have something to keep us busy, and then hopefully our goal is to drive to Alaska come June of 2021.
As long as things open up.
As long as the Canadian borders open up, because a huge chunk of that trip is going through Canada.
But not just going through,
stopping along the way.
Yeah.
So we need those Canadian borders to open up. We need things to kind of go back to normal. If not, we are going to have to make some adjustments to travel within the United States.
But don't worry, we have lots of backup
we
plans.
do have a plan B. We won't talk about it because
we're
hoping we don't have to do it.
Maybe
So,
I don't know.
figure
The
it
plans
out.
go on and on. But van life, I think the biggest thing that is attractive about van life is just the freedom that you have and the flexibility. It's like if you have a day that has terrible weather, like don't do anything. Like don't travel. Don't go out and do the hike you're supposed to do. Like just stay in your campsite and enjoy the day inside.
And I think a big thing about van life that's appealing to us too, I mean, depending on your lifestyle, there's so many options. You don't have to be in van life full time. We are not full-time van lifers. We're very average people with normal-ish jobs. We have a lot of flexibility. Derek is a teacher, so he has summers off. I am a nurse and I work a per diem position, so I have a lot of flexibility with creating my own schedule and time off, as well as working as little or as much much as I want. So, you know, not typical 9 to 5, but we do have to kind of make some adjustments based on our lifestyle as well.
So then it kind of got down to, all right, now what? We want to do this. How do we do it? When do we do it? What do we buy? So we started doing some research, and like pretty quickly we narrowed down to a Ford Transit or a Dodge Ram Promaster, mostly because the Mercedes are beautiful, but they were very expensive.
Very expensive, and we're not in it full time, so we don't need something that's going to be the best of the best. We rented a ProMaster when we were out west. We talked about that trip a little bit earlier, and we loved it. It was great. The Transits, we didn't like those as much when we looked online.
They're a little
just
smaller,
so we wanted to get the most that we could out of our space.
Yeah, when you're living long periods of time on the road in your van, a couple inches here and there goes a long way, and I think that's what led us to the Ram more than the Transit. I don't know. I think also being comfortable from our trip. We drove it for 2,000 miles.
We knew the car,
and we're comfortable with it. So now we have a. If that wasn't recorded, I would literally be so pissed.
That's what my fear was, that it wasn't actually recorded.
Oh my goodness, but it is.
It is.
All right, we're still in action, guys.
We very casually had been finding things and researching things online. We almost found it impossible to find anything local to us. We actually had to travel quite a few hours north to get this ProMaster, which was well worth it.
Well, most of the ones that we saw were New York, New Jersey, even some further
They
south.
go so fast. They go up for sale and people purchase them for one reason or another.
Yeah. So then we started thinking, okay, we know we want a ProMaster now. Now we gotta lower it down to specific things that we might want. The first thing, obviously, we want to focus on is price. So we wanted to be, definitely under 30,000. We were kind of thinking more towards like the lower 20,000.
Yeah, trying to maybe under 25,000.
If we keep it under 25, that'd be
that.
perfect. So that basically took us to our next step, which was mileage. So in order to get to that 25,000, we had to sacrifice a bit with miles. So at first we were looking at things that were like a year or two old, which means they were probably owned by a fleet, had like 20,000 miles on them, and those were $28,000, $30,000 pretty much across the board. So on a year-to-year basis, we're probably going to put somewhere between 10 and 15,000 miles on it.
So that gave us the ability to say, hey, let's start a little higher at the mileage point, just because these things, if you take care of them, they can be running, to the ground 400,000 miles, and we've seen plenty of them still out there for sale.
Yeah, so we started looking somewhere in the 50 to 75,000 mile range, knowing that would get our costs around somewhere below 25,000. And we just looked, week after week we looked.
And then we actually found this one, and we were like, let's go look at it. So I was pretty adamant about waking up at the crack of dawn because we had like a 3.5 hour drive, and I wanted to be the first person there because I didn't want
FOMO.
I didn't want to get all the way up there and then be like, oh, sorry, we just sold it.
Yeah,
I wanted to leave with this van.
It was FOMO for sure, fear of missing out.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Like, it's justified because we had literally communicated the week or two leading up to buying this van with other dealerships that one day we were talking to them about it, the next day it was sold. It was gone.
Or they just wouldn't answer you, and then you kind of realized that the van itself was taken off the ad or whatever.
So things do move that quickly, especially right now with vans. So we pretty much went up, like we didn't really need a test drive. Like obviously we wanted to make sure this one worked, but we knew what it drove like, and if it was there and it was available and there wasn't issues, we were gonna buy it.
And one of the nicest things about this van is it was super clean. We didn't have to pull out a rotting plywood floor because somebody had not taken care of it. Like it was clean, everything was coated with plastic, it was down to its bare bones, which is exactly where we want to start.
Made things a lot easier for us to just get started with the whole build. So then we ended up settling on this van. After it was all said and done, it was right around $22,000. The exact specs that we wanted with this Dodge Ram. The mileage, the price was perfect, and allowed us to lead into our build at a very comfortable spot.